Mark Todd, aka the Cheese Dude, a culinary consultant in wine and cheese for over 2 decades, Mark's insatiable love of the old vino brought him eventually to the Sonoma County wine country, where he was introduced to the wonderful world of cheeses. The rest, as they say, is gastronomic history.
The Cheese Dude came about, actually, I was called that before I called myself that, because I've been teaching cheese for about 20 years now. And when I would show up to do cheese events, people would say, "Oh, hey, it's that Cheese Dude." And I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's going to stick. So I became the Cheese Dude.
Recently, Mark was in Malaysia for a flying visit, appearing as a consultant for the California Milk Advisory Board at a pizza cheese training seminar held at Taylor's Lakeside campus in Subang, where he shared his vast knowledge of the cheese and pizza industry and conducted a special pizza demo to interested attendees. Historically, cheese and the Asian palate do not go together all that well. Unaccustomed to its taste, Asians have tended to approach cheese with extreme caution. That said, Todd has had some surprising discoveries during his frequent visits to Asia.
Over the past 5 years that I've been coming to Asia, it's absolutely surprised me the cheeses that they tend to gravitate towards. Smoked mozzarella seems to be the very favorite cheese in Asia. Every place that I introduce it, when I do tastings, it's usually the #1 or at most #2 favorite cheese in the whole room. When I make pizzas with it, they just love the flavor of that smoked mozzarella. In general, the first cheeses people are going to be introduced to are things like mozzarella. Regular, basic, part skim mozzarella on a pizza. Some of the other mild cheeses that are really good steps in are Monterey Jack. Monterey Jack is a really high moisture, high fat cheese that has a great mouthfeel to it, and it picks up flavors quickly. So there's a lot of flavored Monterey Jack. That seems to be a very popular cheese over here. When you put hot peppers in a Jack cheese, the Asian market seems to very much like that because they're used to eating hot chili peppers. And so if you can add those into your cheese, you've already got something they're familiar with. So that's a good one. But in general, mild cheeses are your first step. Havarti, Monterey Jack, mild cheddar, things like that.
Working with the California Milk Advisory Board promoting California speciality cheese, it's no surprise to hear Mark waxing lyrical of their quality and deliciousness. So what is it about Californian cheeses that would appeal to the Asian market?
Well, one of the things that sets California cheese apart, as I said, is the consistency of the cooking in it. When you cook with California cheese, the cheese that we have designed to go on a pizza is going to cook the same every day, all the time. One of the problems that you have with cheeses from places like New Zealand and Australia, which make great cheeses, but their milk changes seasonally because the cows are eating fresh grass and out in the pasture. Well, as the season progresses, what's growing is different, what types of grasses are different, and so the milk will change every day. It's very difficult to make a very consistent cooking product with a basic ingredient that's changing every day.
Despite having to leave straight for the airport immediately after our interview, Mark found the time for a bit of myth busting. So wine and cheese go hand in hand, right? Wrong.
One of the misnomers in cheese, or the common misunderstandings, is that cheese and wine is a natural pair. It really isn't. If I stacked 100 cheeses on a table and put 100 different wines, you'd be hard-pressed to find a couple of dozen pairings that were really outstanding. If you think about the history of cheese, cheese grew up mostly in Europe. It was made by the farm wives all around Europe. The farm wives made beer because beer didn't kill you like the water in the well downtown did. They would make bread and they would make cheese. Those products have grown up together for 7,000 years in Europe. Beer and cheese is a much more natural combination than wine and cheese is actually. Wine throughout history has been the drink of the rich. Beer has been the drink of the masses. And the masses in Europe have always eaten cheese. So beer and cheese, if I put 100 beers and cheese, you'd probably find 90 that were pretty good.
And the last word on Californian cheeses from the Cheese Dude?
As a person, anytime you want to learn about a foodstuff, the only way to really learn about it is twofold. Read, eat. You can read about cheeses all you want and it'll give you an idea of it. But the only way to really know them is put them here. And so what I recommend people do is get together with a group of friends. I have a wine tasting group, I have cheese tasting groups. You get together and blind taste product. And if you blind taste them, say cheddars. Today we're going to taste cheddar. Well, go down to the most upscale grocery you can find here and buy every different style of cheddar you can find. Put them all out with no labels on them and then taste them to see what the subtle differences are between the different styles. That is how you will train your palate to recognize qualities that are valuable and positive and ones that maybe shouldn't have been in there.